Now y'all can hear me. I totally forgot to put on my microphone. Yeah, I was too worried about getting the phone line set up that I completely forgot to put on my microphone. Okay, so now we have audio, and hopefully it's not terribly loud. But yeah, sorry, I was too worried about getting the phone line set up that I completely forgot to set up my own microphone. But that is set up. So yeah, the plan is to have Amarillo Cluster Repair call in and pick a random number and pitch his product, but I totally didn't tell him that until, what was that, 5 minutes ago? So he may not call in, and that's my fault, not his. So if he doesn't call in, we will let you guys in the chat either call in or pick a random number, and that will pick the winner. Because I've read all the names, I know who all entered, and I would be very biased picking one. So I'll let it be random. Somebody that does not know exactly what's going on there. So yeah, so for the live stream tonight, I don't have any repairs because I've been stupid busy fixing this guy. Yeah, it's yeah, I had a leaky manifold in my shower. It sucked. I cut up my hands and my arms reaching in there, fixing this thing. I don't recommend plumbing. If any of you guys are plumbers, your job sucks. I wouldn't want that. No. Would not want to do this for a living. So yeah, don't have any repairs that I'm going to do today. I figured I would talk about some news articles though to fill some time because we are waiting to hopefully hear back from from him. But yeah, I did send him a message on Facebook. So, well, you can still enter now. Let me, here, I'll drop the link for it. Oh, no name is a plumber. Well, your job sucks. I'm sorry. I would not want to do that for a living. So let me find that link so I can drop it in the chat. It's in the other window. Here we go. Oh, no. Google Forms. I got to pull it back up. I guess I could just go to that video and copy and paste it, but whatever. We currently have 81 entries. It says 82, but one of them's me testing the form to make sure it works. Okay, so send. All right, and link. Okay, here we go. Shorten link, that way. All right, here is the form to enter for anybody that has not entered already in the giveaway. So this is the, it's not sitting over here. I didn't prepare well. Let me go grab it. But yeah, the bench tester. Let me go grab it though. All right, so yes, this is what we're giving away, the original of the bench tester. He gave me the second version of it, so I have two of them. I don't need two of them, so I'd rather pay it forward and give it to one of you guys. So this is the original one. Main difference in the original and the new version is the new version has a switch to turn off the lights, and the old version has a remote control to turn it on and off if you want to use it, but with just switches. I lost the remote control, so it does not have a remote control anymore. So, oh well. You were never going to use the remote anyways. Just use the switches like a normal person. That's why I lost the remote. I never used it. So, I have no clue what I did with it. If it turns up before I ship it out, then I will ship it with it. But don't have high hopes on that. All right, let me move that out of the way. So, yeah, that is what we are giving away tonight. But while we wait on that, I'm going to give it just a little bit longer. Oh, he messaged back. He just saw. So, yes, he said he will call in. Yes, I do want some of your PCBs to show off. I would actually like to get to show how to use the hot plate myself, although it's pretty simple because I got a hot plate. It's You can kind of see it sitting there in the background. Haven't done any videos on it, so if you could just send one not assembled with the components in it, I will do a video on assembling it too. Are you going to sell them as not assembled, or are you only going to sell them assembled? Because if you plan on selling them as non-assembled, I can do a video that you can show people like, hey, here's how to put it together, and I'll show doing it by hand and with a hot plate. So that way, both, because most people aren't going to have a hot plate, so it'd be more useful for people to at least have kind of, I don't know, a tutorial for idiots that don't know how to put LEDs on, because we all start somewhere. So when I say idiots, I mean it in a nice way. All right, we got our first call, and
Call from
Texas Auto Sales.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
hello.
Mr. Matt, how
Can
you
you-
doing, brother?
Doing good. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. All right, let me check and make sure the audio is being piped in. Yep, it is. So, it looks like it's being piped in twice. So let me mute that. There we go. That way it doesn't echo it at all. So it looks like it's good to go now. Cool. I had problems last time with the phone call, so I just wanted to check it. All right, so for the giveaway, we have, let me just double check and make sure we don't have any new entries. That way you have your number to pick from. All right, we now have 80, so there's 84 responses. Don't pick number 1 because number 1 is me testing it. So,
Okay.
all right, so you can pick a number between 1 and 84, or sorry, between 2 and 84.
All right, let's go with number 50.
Let's go with number 50. All right, we will see who number 50 is. All right, number 50. Oh, they don't use a real name. They use their username, but it is BSIEJA. And I will email them to let them know. So our Devious did not win. He was hoping it was going to be him. But yeah, so go ahead and pitch it real quick. Give them a better pitch than I'm giving of what this thing is and why they should want to buy one from you.
Well, honestly, the simplest way of putting it is it makes, powering up the cluster so much easier. On my end, when I started this business in 2016, I think it was, we started this. As you know, you gotta, get the actual connector from a junkyard and, do the whole figuring out what pin goes to what, and it's kind of a pain, to figure out which one's which. So making the bench tester was, the first thing we started doing it back in 2016. I think it was the first year we did a bench tester. It just makes it so much easier. All you do is you change the harnesses. Let's say you need an 03 to 07, you just get a harness and plug it in. It's plug and play. So, and it's very, it's modular completely. So pretty much as far as, if now we are only doing Chevys, anything GM, Chevy, we can do it. Ford, we're working on Ford currently too. So pretty much any harness that you can think of, as long as it's a GM or Chevy, we can make it for you. Most harnesses are around $45 each. So it's very affordable when it comes to the harnesses. The bench tester, we sell them for $2.99 each. And as you know, it's all handmade, so it does take quite a bit of a few hours to make. So at the moment, we are about, I guess you could say, about a week and a half to 2 weeks. If you order one, it takes about a week and a half to 2 weeks for us to build it and get you going and everything. So pretty much that's it. It just makes life so much easier when it comes to powering them on, and especially if you're doing mileage, you're doing programming with the cluster. That all the harnesses are plug and play. So you can go in there and just pretty much do gauge sweeps. Pretty much do anything when it comes to as long as you have the right the Bluetooth dongle or the right scanner. You can go in there and just pretty much figure out if it's working correctly, do gauge sweeps left and right, and it makes it so much easier. That's pretty much the whole thing.
Okay, so question then for you, because I get asked this a lot and I don't have an answer to it. What would you recommend for people as their, Bluetooth tool or whatever to plug into it to use? Because, my answer is just use instrument cluster hammer because we made it. It's free, but that really only works for one cluster right now. Obviously, the goal is to grow it to add more in there. But until that point comes, what is a affordable tool that people can use with this, side to side to do? Let's say most people that want to plug into it probably aren't doing the right thing in testing. They really just want to do mileage correction. So what is an affordable tool that they can do a mileage correction and bonus points if it can also sweep the gauges?
When it comes to sweeping the gauges, the most affordable tool that we recommend on our end is the Think Diag. Amazon, eBay has them for about $99 to $120. If you buy it from the right seller, they have a one vehicle, that you can include on there. It is an extra. Every vehicle that you put on there, it's extra. You got to pay a little subscription on it. I think it's $20 or $30 difference, when it comes to the subscription itself. That's for, testing the actual cluster. In other words, you can do gauge sweeps, you can test the lights, you can test pretty much everything in the cluster on there that you can think of when it comes to, like I said, the lights, the displays. You can test it with the Think Diag. I personally, have that from Amazon that we bought it for $100. I think we paid.
Okay.
When it comes to mileage, the most affordable, I guess you could think of, and the easiest way of doing it, since it is done through, through the OBD2 plug itself, is the OBD Prog MT401. I think it is. Yeah, it is the MT401.
Okay.
It's around $250 on eBay.
Okay.
That pretty much does just about every GM vehicle itself out there. And it does a lot of other cars from Fords, to Dodge and all that. So that is the quickest, simplest way of doing the mileage correction. It does not do Toyota. It does some Nissans, but no Toyota. But yeah, I guess if I could recommend anything, it would be the MT401. That would be the best, affordable and best way of doing it. There are different out there, scanners that can do a lot of more vehicles, but they get a little bit more expensive, But yeah, if you want to go that route, you can go that route. That's the most affordable, quickest, simplest way of doing it when it comes to, making the mileage and the sweeps on the clusters themselves.
Okay. So, what do you think of, I've never used one, so it's an honest question, the OBD stars? I see a lot of people recommend them because they're like the cheapest when it comes to that. Are they any good? Do they work good? Because they're like $120, I believe it was.
And we do have it. Pretty much, we have X Tools also. I think I've got about 8 or 9 programmers that we just bought to test. But honestly, my favorite one, if you look at my the one we use the most, I guess it has the more wear and tear, would be the 401. Just because it's so much simpler, that would be the best, I guess you could recommend. For $250, you get that. And I think when it comes to GMs, it does probably about 95% of GMs out there. When it comes to Fords, it probably does about 50 or 60% of Ford. Dodge also, it does about 80% of Dodges, I guess you could say. But yeah, we have from $150 programmers all the way to $3,000 programmers, and even the $3,000 programmers don't do what the MT401 does. And it's our go-to programmer. We have 2 of them actually, since we do a lot of clusters here, and that's pretty much what we use for most of them. Just because it's so much simpler, it's quick and simple, I guess you could say.
Well, I can respect that. I appreciate you giving that advice because I get asked it all the time. And as you and I both know, I don't do enough clusters to justify most of those tools. So it's kind of one of those like, I don't know, I got to rely on somebody else's, knowledge on that. So, and as you know, I'm kind of getting out of clusters a little bit. I'm not trying to quit doing them. I just, the railway stuff keeps me super busy and pays a little bit better. So it's kind of taken the forefront of what I've been doing for repairs.
Yeah.
So
I kind of noticed that you kind of, stepping away. On our end, we love them. We do on average about 7. At the moment, we do about 7 a day. And on average, what we charge is $150. There are people that charge less, but most clusters we charge $150 and up from there. So on our end, we love them. It's good money, great money, I guess you could say. And as you know, most of them are GM, which are simple to fix. They're not that hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, on our end, I think we're going to keep going, and hopefully we can. I've seen companies out there that are doing 30 a day, which is great. But on our end, like I said, we do about 7 on average a day.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely. I'm not getting out of them because there's not money in them. That's not the reason. I haven't even really been getting out of them. I just haven't been advertising my service because I've been so busy. What I need to do is hire somebody. I got this like empty space in the background over there where there's just a chair. I can get rid of that chair, put another desk over there, and get my first employee. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, when it comes to advertising, I know a lot of people don't like to advertise, but we use Facebook, and since December, I can tell you one thing: we spent over $3,000 on just advertising.
Yeah.
Of course, we do Google also, but when it comes to, it seems like Facebook works the best. Just the fact that they put it right in front of you. So if you, you know how they say they're listening to your cell phone conversations. Yes, they are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They admitted to it. They actually, there was 2 years ago they admitted to it. Because they actually had a room full of employees that were writing transcripts of stuff, and one of the employees went public with, "Hey, this is what my job is," and then Facebook was like, "Oh yeah, that's true. We really are doing that." So yeah, it's not like it's some conspiracy that they're listening. They've been public about it, but they also have been moving more of that to AI instead of like humans doing it. But I mean, I don't know. Do you trust the computers?
So whenever we have a customer come in, we have a sign-in sheet, and pretty much you put your name, number, year, make, and model, and where'd you hear us from? Where'd you find out about us? And I think probably 90% of the customers that walk into our office are Facebook. And I always ask, and they're like, you know what? Me and my wife were talking about fixing a cluster. I got on Facebook 2 hours later, and guess what? There was your ad. So it works. I mean, it's well spent money, I guess you could say. So
yeah, that's how I do all my advertising is through Facebook as well. So I completely agree with you on that. I'm a little cheaper though. I don't spend nearly as much money on it, and I think Facebook's going to kick me off Facebook soon because I keep uploading files that they don't agree with. So I need to make a website for the for the groups. That way we can all move to a forum and not be on Facebook when I get kicked off of Facebook. But luckily we still have Zach and Mike running the group. So if I do get kicked off, there are other people to run the group. So
I actually love that Facebook page that you are running. It's definitely a go-to source if you need help. Obviously, as you noticed that anytime somebody asks a question, there's always somebody that's willing to help. So yeah, if y'all haven't joined, that's definitely a thing to do. It's a great page. That's for sure.
Yeah. Completely agree. Because I neglect the group, but the group stays alive, so that goes out to the members and everybody else helping run it. Because I don't know, I'll come in like once a week and answer a couple of things here and there, and then I just like ghost everybody for a while. So yeah, the group's great, and I'm really happy with the way it goes, which is why I didn't market it as like a group for the channel. It's automotive electronics repair technicians, 'cause that's what I wanted. I didn't want to grow a fanboy fan base that's just there to talk about my videos. It's supposed to be, hey, talk about your projects, talk about your problems, ask questions, and I try to keep it as like a no judgment zone on questions. But I don't know, I feel like we've gotten a couple of trolls in the group recently that are just they're asking such basic questions that I question if they're even being legitimate with their questions. So
But yeah, man, anytime there's somebody that's there and I have time, I always try to help out, and especially with connectors, as you know, that's what we do. So believe it or not, most of my questions that I get, messaged on was, pinouts and, all data. So yeah, anytime anybody needs, a pinout for a connector or anything, I don't mind helping out as long as it's during business hours. Usually they'll text me at 10 at night. I'm like, yeah, text me tomorrow and I'll get you the pinout. So all data is not cheap, but hey, that's a great resource that we have, and I'm more than willing to help out anybody that needs it, So on our end, we pay it because, this is what we do. We do the harnesses, so we got to have that, just to be able to, figure things out.
Well,
so.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sending me these two things. That way I could, pay one forward to everybody else and still have one for myself to use. I know you sent it to, somewhat benefit yourself of free marketing, but I don't know. It benefits me more than it's benefiting you, in my opinion. I'm the one winning here. So,
Like I told you, it's something that you're definitely gonna love. Just it makes life so much easier, on your end and our end, and it's anytime we have a cluster, we just go pick up the harness and boom, it takes 2 seconds, just plug and play, and you don't have to worry about the pin outs and all that. It makes life simpler. And if you do this for a business, 100% it's going to help you out, and no matter even if you're a small company or a big company. I mean, I've seen, humongous companies I've seen their, little connectors that they have, and I'm like, man, it would make so much, life would be a lot easier if you actually, not to make a sale, but just for the fact that it makes it so much easier, just to have the right harness and plug and play, nothing to it.
well, and not only that, so this is what I normally used before you sent that, where it's a little homemade thing where I've trimmed them out. And it's just the loose cables there. With yours, you actually put cable relief on there with that, so it's a little more durable. So these things generally only last me a couple of months when I cut them out of the car. And your original one you sent me never gave me problems at all since I've had it. So that's something I would argue it's worth it because it doesn't wear out nearly as fast as ones that you cut out of the vehicle, in my opinion. So
So yeah,
that's
when it comes to terminals and all that, we use, I guess the best I was able to find, and it's, as Mauser is a great company. So all the connectors, all the terminals come from Mauser. All the wiring itself, it's not eBay, wiring. It's all, Pro Wire USA. So my background, we do a lot of harnesses. We've done it since we started when it comes to Honda. So we do all the COP kits for Honda, any I guess any Honda, not ranging from the 80s all the way to 2000, 2001. We do COP kits, so we build harnesses. So yeah, when it comes to the actual, I guess, quality, when it comes to harnesses, yeah, they're perfect. We kind of got that dialed in. And we do give you a year warranty on everything that we sell. So if it does go bad, you just, call us and we'll send you a brand new harness. Makes life a lot easier that way. So yeah, when it comes to harnesses, I think we got that down.
I completely agree that's what every time somebody comes to my office and is like looking at it, I go, yeah, that's handmade, and they go, what? Somebody made that? Yeah. So I'm just copying and pasting the winner into the chat too, so that way I just saw somebody post that they had entered to win, and oh, whoops. All right. Yeah, so I really appreciate you taking the time to call in and help do this giveaway. So thank you for that. I think I'm going to end the call now, so that way we can move on to some news stuff. I just wanted to talk about real quick. And also, somebody from my previous unit sent me this because they said that I wouldn't wear it on one of these phone call things. So I'm going to wear it just because... that's what happens when you're in the military. People give you a hard time, and yeah, it's just somebody from my previous unit. They said you wouldn't do it, so I have to do it. So we're going to read some news articles. Hopefully I can read through these eyes and discuss some right to repair stuff. So if anybody else wants to call in, the line is open, and we can discuss whatever you want to discuss.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hopefully that Google Voice noise is not terribly loud for you guys. It's really loud in my headset. So let me know if that is too loud for you guys. And we will put on this mask since, somebody's not going to tell me that so what happened is they saw my message where it was the guy with the gecko suit, and they're like, well, are you open to a costume? And they were going to try to buy me like a full-on furry costume, and I said I would not wear a full costume. But I said masks are fine, so they got me a Bowser mask. So yeah, sorry guys, you don't get to see me as a furry, but yeah, here we go. So, oh yeah, I can still read. All right, so we're going to do a screen share, so I got to hide the chat and hide this screen. How does this sound? Does it sound terrible? I got to bring back up the chat so that way I can see you guys chat though. I'm going to pop it out. All right, so stop chat. Pop out chat. All right. So now we have the chat up on the screen. It's perfect. Awesome. All right. So now we have the Google News article that I was going to read, and I need to switch here. Okay. So now you get to see yourself for a second. All right. So Germany takes an aggressive stance on right to repair is this news article. Oh, let me bring back up the chat because I can no longer see it. I can hardly see the mouse through this thing. All right. There we go. Cool. I'm going to have to move this. All right. There we go. Oh, now I got that in front of the camera. Now I can't read it at all. All right. Whatever. We'll deal with it. I won't see the chat. I need to set up a second monitor, but this giant monitor takes up most of the screen. All right, so basically what's going on here, the too long didn't read of this is Germany is asking the EU to step in and mandate that mobile phone manufacturers, specifically Apple, push out the length of time that they support the devices. So they want, I believe they wanted 7 years of support. Let me find it again. And they wanted parts to be available. Yes, so they want software updates and parts to be available for 7 years. Sorry, it's really hard to read through this thing. But the problem with that is the parts that they're requiring to be available is screens and batteries. So it's not a huge win for repair in the independent repair world. It's really more of a win for manufacturer repairs. It just forces it to go out longer. So this whole thing, because everyone's been making a big deal out of it. They've been like, oh yeah, Germany's pushing for right to repair and doing all this. But it's like most of these European right to repair things that we've seen so far, where there's no bite behind it. They're asking for that what sounds like a really good thing, and it's really not much more than what they already have. Now, that said, Europe has better consumer protection laws in place than we have here in the United States in the first place. So, I don't know. That's kind of my take on this whole thing, is that there's just not a lot to it. Now, the mask is coming off because it's making my face sweat, and I still have other stuff I want to cover. So, I wore the mask. There we go. It happened, so now they can't say I wouldn't do it. But I got uncomfortable, so now the mask is off. All right. Let me pull back up the chat now that I can actually see what I'm doing. All right. And there goes the live stream. There goes my Facebook. Ooh, this is something I do want to talk about. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. So let me look at the chat. All right. I kind of disagree with making the manufacturers hold parts for 7 years. That's why, yes, I agree. I also agree with that too. But we have to be careful. I think trying to think of how to word this. I don't want to misspeak. I think the great thing about asking them to make parts available for X number of years is because we're getting to more system on chip things where they're custom made chips. And so you have to make the manufacturers make that available because nobody else is going to sell it because it's a custom made chip just for them. That, because there's now companies you can pay that to, like, hey, we have the silica available and we can put all these different components on that silica so you don't have to put them elsewhere. You still have to have your passives and everything to go along with it, but I don't know. There's going to become a point in time where right to repair is, hey, you have to sell us the system on chip, because that's all what's in there. You got a couple of passives and then the system on chip, like if the EEPROM fails, well, that whole system on chip needs to be replaced. I think there's another name for it. That's why I was trying to think of it. But yeah, basically there's already companies that, you and I can reach out to make, for a lot of money, make, our own variant of the STM32 with other features already put on the die for example. So like you can go ahead and put more flash on there and stuff. So I think that's going to be the big push for, we have to require manufacturers to make these things available, because soon, like this is not like 10 years down the line, this is already available. So soon we're going to run into that point in time where it's no longer, hey, I need this microcontroller. It's, hey, I need everything because it's all in one package. And so, yeah, that's kind of my take on that. Yeah. So then, oh yeah, so the next one, it's already up on the screen here. I think I still have the screen share going. Oh, and now I full screened it again. Sorry, my camera's sitting right here. The screen's right there, so it's kind of in the way. So this is a letter I wrote to my local newspaper, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I want to encourage you as the viewers to reach out to your own local news sources and try to do opinion pieces or letters to the editor, because that's what I tried to do, an opinion piece. They weren't interested in doing a full opinion piece, so I did a letter to the editor instead. And basically what I did was here in Florida, in Northwest Florida, where I live in a part of Florida where it's kind of the South will rise again kind of people. They're very conservative. So I made my argument for right to repair catered to them, because conservatives right now feel like they're being pushed down by, the liberal left. And so, I mean, like, hey, this isn't a partisan issue. Nobody's going to be out to get you on this. So that's part of what I argued. And the other part was private ownership, which is a huge point to a more conservative crowd. Private ownership is one of the most important arguments you can make towards them. So that's how I wrote mine. So that's what I didn't want to read this verbatim. It's on the screen if you want to read it. But basically what I said is, hey, this isn't a left versus right issue. This is you, the little guy, telling the manufacturer, I own this and I want to fix it and you won't let me. And so that's kind of how I wrote mine. And I don't want to tell people, hey, write X thing for, this. Use your own free thought, because you're going to see things in a light that I'm not seeing them. So that's why I'm not going to take the approaches you see other people take that are trying to push a stance of like, hey, here's what to argue and argue it. No. You use your own free thought, because you're going to see something differently than I see it and write it. But yeah, this is the piece that I wrote, and it's okay. I don't know. I'm not the best writer in the world, but yeah, I definitely tried to stir this up towards a more conservative crowd here with my argument. So yeah, let's see where the chat has gone now. Nothing new. Okay. So here is the next thing, which is also where comes in this, like, hey, telling people what to do. I can't stand it. So here is this whole thread from EEV blog from a couple of months ago, but it's still like haunting me. All right. I'd been wanting to talk about this on the channel and just haven't had a chance to. So I thought about it before this video as filler content before we announced the winner. But hey, we announced it at the beginning, so it's back filler. So right to repair, my problem with it is the thread on EEV blog. And this guy has this totally misconstrued understanding of how products get tested for EMI or electromagnetic interference before they get sold. And so he has this fallacy that every single thing gets tested every single time before it gets sold and verified, and that like revision changes to the board get tested too, because a lot of times they don't. I'm not in manufacturing, but I know enough people in manufacturing to know, like, hey, once the product's certified, unless you make a huge change to it, you can do little revision changes here and there and continue to sell your product. And so his argument is, hey, look at what Louis Rossmann's doing here. Look at all of these wires he's adding. Of course that all these wires are going to add EMI, and they may or may not produce it. I mean, probably would, but may not. But the biggest flaw with this argument, because this is the closest argument to an accurate argument against right to repair, is electromagnetic interference. But it's a fear-mongering tactic or technique, where you're basically trying to say, hey, all the planes and trains are going to fall out of the sky because of this EMI, and people are going to die, their pacemakers are going to go off, and all this, and making this argument that right to repair shouldn't pass because of you're not going to have compliance testing. But here's the thing, and I wanted to put this in recorded words for people to know. As a repair technician, it is your responsibility to make sure what you're doing is safe. So if for some reason you think that you're going to produce so much EMI from this repair you're doing, maybe you should get it tested. But that's not realistic. Most things you're not going to test. But it is your responsibility to make sure your repair you're doing is safe, and you're going to be liable if it's not safe and somebody gets hurt. And that's how you counter the argument of, well, repairs are going to make things unsafe. Okay, no, they're not. You know, FTC has proven that repairs are not making things unsafe. However, there are exceptions to anything. They may make things unsafe, and you should be liable for your mistake you made. It doesn't fall on the manufacturer. It never would fall on the manufacturer for a fault that you made as a repair technician. So your argument that right to repair shouldn't pass because injuries or whatever is false. It's wrong. Right to repair should pass, and you should hold people accountable for doing wrong and harming others. It's pretty basic. It's not that complicated. And that's really the counter argument, in my opinion, to this is, so first, you're wrong. And second, how likely is it that there's EMI? And third, even if everything you say does happen, that it wouldn't, you should hold the person liable for their actions. And that's all there is to this. You shouldn't not pass a law based on that. So that's kind of my argument on that. So let's take a look now at the chat, and it probably will, yeah, so this is probably going to wrap up the live streams. Let me switch this over here. Unless somebody wants to call in, the phone line is open. We can take phone calls, and anybody that wants to call in, we can talk. If not, I'm going to end the live stream. So let me know what you think. Should I end the live stream here, or does anybody want to call in and discuss anything? It's piped right into the live stream so everybody can hear you, and you can pitch your business, or you can talk about right to repair. I don't care. So I'll give it a couple of minutes here before I end this. But that's really all I had planned. I wanted to do the giveaway, get it done, because I promised I'd do it on the 7th, and I've just been so busy here lately that I was worried I wasn't going to get it done. So I was like, I'm just going to do a live stream and knock this out. Mike is new IFC. What does that, what do you mean? Seen Mike has new IFC. I don't know what you're talking about. New IFC. What's a new IFC? I'm Googling what trying to. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. And now I have closed the window. There it is. New right to repair and mod. Oh, a new instrument cluster. Oh, so he added a new instrument cluster to IPC Hammer? Because I have not checked IPC Hammer in the past week. Let me look. All right, let's see here. Camera was in the way. Last update 13 days ago turned on. I don't see a new cluster added, but I do see that he turned on the J2534. Sorry, dyslexia hit me there. So yeah, he turned on the J2534, but I don't see a new cluster added. What is the link to? Oh, I can drop the link to that So this one, again, it's kind of a dead thread. It kind of annoyed me. Like, I feel like he was trolling a little bit. Go Gators. All right, there you go. My dad is a huge Gators fan, although I live in FSU territory because it's Northwest Florida. I personally am not a football fan. I don't enjoy sports other than drag racing. It's I'm wearing a ZMAX Dragway hat. So yeah, drop the link to that thing. Yes, it is. definitely prices are getting outrageous on products, and repair makes sense. And I feel like planned obsolescence in appliances is getting worse right now. Actually, let me go grab it. Let me grab this. So this morning after I got home from school, I got this in the mail. Well, not this one. I got a working one in the mail. This is the control board to my grandfather's gas stove that has a gas-controlled oven too. So this is a control board for it, just for controlling the oven and the clock. That's all what it does. The range itself is all automatic. Well, not automatic, but manual for the range. But yeah, has a gas oven that's controlled by this control board. And as you can see, I had to replace it, so it's failed. The transformer's nice and melted, and you can see where they just decided, oh, we don't need a fuse. We're not going to put a fuse on here. So it has no fuse, and a fuse probably, maybe, would have saved it to where it's at a point that's repairable. I was hoping to repair the old control board after putting the new one in, so he'd have a spare, but I'm not rewinding a transformer, so yeah, not getting repaired. Shame. It's a shame. A fuse probably could have at least stopped the transformer from melting that bad. So. All right. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up the live stream here, unless somebody wants to call in. So. Last time we got more callers. I think the last one we had 3 callers. This time just the one, and he had to call. All right. Well, thank you for joining the live stream. Thanks for talking to me. I know not super interesting. I didn't have a repair. Oh, we had somebody that was supposed to call. He said he was going to call, but I guess because he was going to give us some insight onto. He worked in the supply chain for a while, so maybe we'll get him in the next live stream. If not, oh well. But yeah, he worked in parts supply and worked with some companies. He mentioned that he had some insight on like how, although they never did it where he worked, why manufacturers put particular, change the part numbers. They have supplied things with the part numbers, they just never put them on there. So he had some insight on that, and I thought it would be interesting to hear and just have a discussion on that. So he's going to jump on live stream one of these days. And I thought that was kind of neat. And then I need to contact that attorney again. We were going to do a kind of like that video I did with Jeff, where it was a Skype call and then kind of just posted it online. She was going to talk to me about right to repair. She is what was her exact thing? Oh, she specializes in intellectual property law and from the business side of things, but she cares about right to repair and what's going on with that because that's going to directly impact her job. So I wanted her to get on and talk about how that was going to impact her job. I thought it'd be interesting to get a non-repair person talking about it, even if she has a negative view or positive. I don't know. I never got to that level of it. Just got to like, hey, are you interested in doing this? Because she did a video on right to repair, and I was like, hey, you interested in doing this? You have like a dead channel, even though your content's really good. Let's do a video. So yeah, that was the plan there. So I think I am going to get off here. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any last things in the chat before signing off. All right, well, it was nice talking to you guys, and